Alright guys, night 3. We keep playing in Vampire the Masquerade. It's about 2 a.m. December 2024, 5 nights till New Year. I love all this New Year stuff. It's painfully obvious, but Drake never believed I'd actually turn up for the meeting. I catch him off guard in front of his heaven. He leans against the door, absent-mindedly, and yet anxiously spinning his ring while scanning his surroundings. The Little Leper, night 3. In the seconds when he looks away, I creep up quietly and casually, relishing the oncoming surprise. Are you in there, big man? You look so distant I can hardly see you from here. His dad whips around, and for a split second, surprise and relief flash across his face before his eyes dart to the moon. Punctually, it's not your strong suit, I take it. You said tomorrow dusk. Well, guess what? It's tomorrow, and the sun's just barely gone down. Stretching definitions will not help you in the long run. What's the big deal? It's like 20 minutes past sunset. Be more specific next time and get off my back, will you? He rolls his eyes, slipping back into his usual indifference as he gets into the car. I hop in right after him. Let's pay D'Angelo a visit, shall we? Yeah, no time to dilly-dally, right? Correct. I'm pretty sure he's ignoring my sharp-ass remarks on purpose. By the way he slams on the gas pedal, that gives me a tiny glimmer of hope that he's not a lost cause. Either way, the perfectly serviceable vehicle does fine, cruising through the night streets, and yet this time is not even that awkward. D'Angelo, you here? The shithole he calls an office looks just the way I left it 2 nights ago, except for some new pins on the corkboard where he charts is crazy, and the trapdoor flung wide open, probably leading down to wherever he hides out during the day. Maybe we should give it a minute. He won't keep us waiting too long. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Let's keep it in character. Hey, Mr. Detective, a damsel in distress desperately needs your help. And then there's me. Drake rolls his eyes, but to my disappointment, there's no comeback. D'Angelo squints at me as he emerged from beneath the floor, his lips moving silently, and I strain my ears to hear it. They appear like shadows, the kind cast by the worn-out hopes and dreams of this wretched city, dreams that could only be saved of none other than Gianni D'Angelo. Saved? That's a bit of stretch, don't you think? He leans back over the rickety table, shaking his head as of to dislodge the noir cliché stuck in his brain. Kelly, a pleasure. As D'Angelo turns to Drake, I catch a hint of smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. Jenny? Drake, looks like you're still losing your head, just not literally, huh? Indeed, the sheriff's yet to relieve me of my cranial burden. But worry not, there is still time until the new year. You might yet win that little bet of ours. I probably shouldn't pry, given the fact that my own neck is on the line here, but I mean, there's a treasure trove of relationship to dig into here. Anyway, we came here to... There's more to their relationship. Find out how you two clowns know each other. Come on, give me the juicy details. D'Angelo shrugs dismissively. He showed up a while back, pestering me about some anarch girl and her inner voices. Would you believe we click over what might just be the greatest movie ever? Which is his way of saying I quoted the Maltese Falcon on him once, completely butchering the line in the process. An anarch girl, you mean? That's what's her name? Sena? Who got beheaded by the sheriff? D'Angelo's already ugly face twisted into an even uglier grimace. Yes, D'Angelo. He stops, tossing the gumshoe a cautious look. Go on, I'm not one to dodge blame. I killed her. He did what a P does, tracked her down and brought her in. You weren't the one holding the blade that ended her suffering. Same difference. In a rare bout of tactfulness, I decided to not pursue the subject. I'd love to have a catch up with you, Gianni, but we did have an agenda walking in here. A glimmer of light flickers in D'Angelo's shades as he turns toward me. I had to break it to you, but if you are here for intel on Castle, you are out of luck. No new leads since we last talked. It concerns Castle, broadly speaking, although he's not exactly the crux of our conversation right now. Sweet lord. Elysium Sarek. Where do we find him, Jenny? D'Angelo narrows his eyes, squinting at me suspiciously, and fiddles with his e-seek. The serpent, what's your angle? What are you after? I don't have time for this. Look, if I wanted to confess, I'd have a fucking church. But hey, this is supposed to be a detective office, right? So why don't you do what you best and just give me sincere contact info already? Easy, Tiger, I'm just asking. Sincere bad news, walking or crawling, depending on, well... Kindly cut off the chase, Jenny. What are you trying to say? D'Angelo takes a long drag of his e-seek as if he's really trying to savor the flavor. I wonder if he actually makes an effort to kickstart his taste buds, or it's just part of his usual act. Since Eric and his serpents are gone from Harlem and nobody really knows why, I've got theories, but they're just that. So, great. So we just burned through our time with pointless chit-chat here, haven't we? Again. D'Angelo shrugs. I'm just about to walk out, but then Pedrex picks up. We don't know why Sansaric left Harlem. Just tell us where to start looking. Fine. St. Philip's and the vicinity of Morningside Park are your best bets. They're not far from each other. You might just dig something up there. Thank you, D'Angelo. Those are solid leads. Oh, the thing of sincerity in your bullshit makes it almost charming. I know they're not quite the Glengarry leads you're after, but hey, on these nights, beggars can be choosers. So, is this intel gonna cost me the usual 2 blood bags? You keep your stash, kiddo. Just clue me in on where's Ansaric hiding once you sniff him out, and we're square. His ugly mug suddenly goes serious. He straightens up and steps closer, eyeing both Pedrick and me intensely. Last time I warned you that shit's gonna hit the fan soon, but that's old news already. It's way worse now. You can feel it, can't you? I nodded almost instantly, catching Pedrick doing the same. I'm bailing earlier than planned, and I strongly advise you to consider doing the same. I won't sugarcoat it. I could use a lift, and you could use some level-headed advice on the road. He looks genuinely terrified. Pedrick and I slowly exchange looks before shaking our heads. I can't. No, not just yet. Things are heated, I understand, but at the moment Callie cannot leave, and I have been saddled with helping her in a way I can only describe it as the non-negotiable. D'Angelo sighs, slumping visibly, and waves his hand dismissively. In that case, just keep your eyes peeled for trouble, alright? Yeah, you too, pal. Until next time, D'Angelo, hopefully under a brighter moon. We're almost at the door when I hear his response barely louder than the brief. Bright nights are all gone, only nightmares remain. I should write that down. But Drake and I came to stop in front of perfectly serviceable vehicle. We should... I already know the crap you're gonna dish out. No speeding up, Callie. I can't fully trust you yet, Callie. But listen, it's late as hell already, so we gotta hustle. If we both go chasing Sansaric in the same spot, or we're gonna catch the sunrise, we gotta divide and conquer. Conquer? See, I knew it. Hold up, what do you mean you conquer? A subtle smirk plays at the corner of his mouth before he reins it in. I agree that we have too much ground to cover, and since you kept your word and didn't flee last time, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt once more. I just stare at him confused as hell before erupting into laughter. I don't recognize you, man. Where's the up-ass Patty? Who's this loose cannon that replaced him with? But Drake wishes briefly, his smile disappearing without a trace and fingers crawling toward the ring. Don't sleep my notice. He bounced back swiftly though, and tuck his hands in his pockets. Let's part ways now. Do you have a preferred destination? So we could choose Chasing Alley, Church, or Morningside Park. The idea of finding Sincere in Morningside Park seems sketchy as hell, but hey, at least it's a lead that we actually have. Let's go to the park. I hop out of Drake's car at the edge of Morningside Park and he speeds off toward the church to search for signs of Sincere. From his vantage point, there is nothing particularly poetic about the park. The absurd number of stairs scattered about could inspire some clients though. But at the end of the night, a park is just a park, which really makes me wonder what the hell a group of radical kindred would be doing here in the first place. I don't know much about Sincere, just the scraps I've picked up. He's the most powerful snake in New York, keeping the ministry in a real iron grip. An aggressive, territorial asshole. No wonder Reynard had a sort of twisted respect for that guy. As for the Adilians, I can't say much either, only that they were infrequent, costly and involved stuff way beyond our regular inventory. Yeah, right, and I'm just a logistics gal, my ass. But no matter, I've got to come through this entire park anyway. Tree by tree, snowflake by snowflake. Inside Park. The search quickly turns into a boring slog. I miss the high-stakes cons I used to run with Reynard. I miss the sketchy deals and those creepy deserted parking slots. Heavy wind blowing inside out of my nose at festivals was more thrilling than this endless sea of snow and trees. And guess what? Since Eric is definitely not here, no trace of him whatsoever. I'm about to throw in a towel and drag my ass back to the rendezvous point. When the wind brings the faint sound of distant conversation to my ears, I turn around and quietly follow the noise. I spot them just a minute later, Kindred snooping around, clearly on the lookout for something, and I really want to know what they're talking about. Sounds of the abyss softer than snowflakes. The snow crunches underfoot, a sure sign it's cold out. Not that I can feel it, but you pick up the clues over time. However, my footsteps just will not do. I concentrate, dampening the sounds around me, engulfing them in a blanket of silence, making my gait quieter than a whisper. Then I move. The snow gives under my weight, but noiselessly. I move cautiously, sticking close to the trees. Soon I'm close enough to overhear snippets to the conversation. Damn, I was already hoping we'd catch Sincere here, but I bet the asshole turned into a snake and holed up somewhere on the ground. Can the serpents even do that? Fuck if I know, no sign of that raven trickster either. Think we should wrap it up. Let's give it another sweep before we head back. If we show up empty-handed, she'll personally throw us into the Hudson. More like she'll trip us for parts. Not the subject I would. Wait, who's there? They both snap their heads at me, and I secretly sped back. Whether they see me or not, they lunge forward. All I can see is flee into the labyrinth of trees, hoping that they haven't tagged me with some kind of tracker. It feels like forever, just me and the wind howling, but I finally shake them off. I get to the meeting spot just as Padraig pulls over. I throw myself into the car, slamming the door behind me. Go, just drive. He slams on the gas. Within seconds we'll tearing through the streets of the city of blur. What happened? Did you run into trouble? Just a deadly chase through the fucking park. Ran into some kindred trying to track down Sincere, spinning some crazy shit about the Hudson. They were after a raven trickster too. Holy shit, you think they were talking about me? I finish rambling and look at Padraig. He's frowning. Lips deadly tight. One hand knocking the steering wheel, the other nervously spin the dice rink. He's got lost in thought. He doesn't respond, and I snap, a little surprised by my own irritation. Hey, did you even hear me? Yes, sorry. I don't know, I'm just glad they did not catch you. He's so spaced out. I bet his thoughts aren't even this hemisphere. I want to keep pestering him, but I realize he's driving with a purpose, and I have no idea where we are heading. What's the bells happening? Where are we going? His shoulders finally drop a bit. he loosens his grip on the steering wheel. I found some recently deceased hunters in the crypts of St. Patrick. One of them had this note on her. I squinted at horrible handwriting. Some wild numbers, coordinates, most likely the description: black, yellow eyes, highly aggressive, exercise extreme caution. Well, it certainly screams Sarek, but what's the deal with these coordinates? They point to North Bravo Island. It's in the East River, a fairly bleak spot, which fits the ministry to a T now that I think about it. That is where we are headed. Good, just get me out of here. So, oh brother, main quest. It might not seem like much, but with all the loose ends strewn around us, we finally snagged a solid lead. North Bravo Island is not the liveliest spot, but hey, it's totally the ministry style if you ask me. North Bravo Island. I used to be one of those kids who was always running around and stirring up some shit after school. Shocking, I know. One of the very best times of my gang of little rascals was exploring the ruins of the old hospital at night. Well, exploring might be a bit of a stretch. We never actually got inside, just dare each other to stare into the windows for as long as we could. Usually I was the last girl standing, but let me tell you, those hours after dusk in the fall, when every whisper of wink, every rustle of the trees was multiplied by 100, they were torture. Now I kinda miss those days. So when Padraig and I hit the wrecked pier of North Bravo Island and see the derelict buildings nearby, I almost squeal with delight. Almost. The ambience is pretty much ruined by the shiny new reefs moored along the pier. Some of them have clearly been used in the last few hours, judging by the mud and melted snow on the seats. Just to make sure we are on the same page, what's exactly your connection to Sansaric? Be fairly honest, Kelly. So, you know, I deal on the, let's just call it the dark side of the web, right? It has come up, yes. Well, Sansaric was technically Reynard's client, but I was one heading all the sketchy stuff that he requested. Never met the guy or anything. Everything always went through Reynard, but Sansaric is the only client I knew by name. I see. You mentioned before that he and Castle had a relatively good relationship. How do you plan to explore that? I snored, half pissed that he knows me too damn well, half assumed by that good relationship crack, since all of it means is they didn't try to actively kill each other. I'm just about to break it down for him when suddenly we are cut off by gunshots, and they're getting closer. We duck down and observe as some guys come steering onto the pier, screaming his lungs out in the terror. He's running backwards, tripping over every bump, while desperately trying to shoot at something in the trees, unaware that the clip has been empty for a while. He's decked out head to toe in urban warfare gear, reminiscent of the hunters I had the pleasure of meeting a few times lately. He hasn't noticed us yet, blinded by his delirious fear. Perfect moment to strike. Feet, started Hunter. My footsteps are silent on the compacted snow as I sneak up on the guy, quieter than a ghost in the flesh. I knock the gun from his trembling hands before he even knows what hit him. His scream is choked off by a soft surprised moan as my fangs sink into his scored neck. I'm not picky when it comes to feeling, but fuck me, he tastes vile. High on adrenaline muscles already burning with lactic acid from his panicked run. It's a weird feeling, the boost of satiation mixed with disgusting taste of my meal. I drink enough and lay his body onto the ground, wiping my mouth off this disgusted grimace. All done? I resist the rush to spit. Yeah, but shit, he was foul. He did look the type, yes. Those were sincere ministers who pushed this poor bastard to the edge. I'm not exactly eager to meet him myself. But Drake knows. Looking at the lifeless body, he makes no move to hide it, so I don't bother either. We share a quick glance before sneaking cautiously through the thicket toward the ruins, looming over the bare trees. We tread carefully through the bushes, mindful of the crunch of the snow underfoot. But let's be honest, distant gunshots would cover the sound of stampeding. Although the shooting has died down in the last couple of minutes and replaced by blood-curdling screams of torment, we stumble upon several corpses, and surprisingly a decapitated skeleton with scraps of decomposing flesh still clinging on it. The murdered crows teasing on the scene couldn't care less. To them, carrion's a carrion. It give us both some pause. Those fuckers. The screams are almost drowning out gunfire now, suggesting that the ministers might be getting up the upper hand. Better than the hunters. I just hope they don't mistake us for enemies and decide we deserve a similar fate. Great, Kelly. You've got yourself right in the middle of the fucking war zone. The whole city feels like a battlefield these nights. It's just our luck that we arrived right in time for the hostilities here. So what's the plan? We could try sneaking past, hoping the hunters are too busy with the serpents to notice us. Or look over there, there's a spot under the collapsed floor where we could hide out and wait for this to blow over. Padre cocks his head, pondering absent-mindedly, twirling his drink, not in a panic this time, but more like using it to focus. Huh? Finally he drops his hands and looks at me calmly. I said we go with whatever your daredevil instinct recommends. You sure you didn't hit your head on our way here? Positive. This isn't our fight. I mean, this isn't our fight, right? No harm in letting them tear each other apart. Let's just hide. Very well. Ever the gentleman, he leaves himself first onto the half-collapsed surface and then reaches down to help me up. We make ourselves comfortable among the darkness and rubble and observe the room below it debated. Well, honestly, we are pretty damn eager to see how it goes down. Let's have a look. The silence in the room feels eerie, too damn quiet for the situation. I know what the hell is happening, I hate to not knowing. So I lean back, close my eyes and drift away, letting go of my sense of self and floating up and up and up more securely to my body, but somehow outside of it I peer down into ruins around and opens my inner eyes to the beast, and I see so many beastly lights all over the island, some strong, some weak, some distant, others alarmingly close, and some right fucking below us. My eyes fly open, a squad of hunters badges into the room, barking orders, all clad in some sort of military gear, guns pointed all over. They frantically look into every nook and cranny, through the door, out the window, everywhere their paranoid minds suspect we might be hiding. But no up, none of them even think to look up. Maybe they can't. Pigs they are. Pigs that they are. The hunters move to leave the room, then suddenly I hear a loud tink, and the guy in front of the door looks like he's about to lose his head. And that's exactly what happens. His head is severed by a cut so clean that his body stands dumbly for a moment before crumping onto the ground. Behind stands a group of serpents, all decked out in livers and gold. Scary as fuck. For a split second, the room goes deadly quiet, and now all hell breaks loose. The hunters and serpents clash with each other. Gunshots, echo, cries fill the air, and blood flows freely. It's all over in less than a minute, and he kindred predictably emerged victorious, leaving one last victim and scattered. The silence that falls is so oppressive that it almost buzzes in my ear. I start to think I've gone deep, but I see Padraig shaking his ears, and I relax a little, relieved that I'm not the only one so overwhelmed. The serpents don't move, don't speak. In this heavy silence, filled only by the scent of the blood, the sound of approaching footsteps echoes like thunder. The man who enters the room is barely my height, but he carries himself with the grandeur of king, the ruthless ruler of his domain, Elysium Sarek, the most powerful snake himself. From the silence of his movements, it and it's easily clear that his thunderous interest was all for the show and intimidation, a warning. Magnanimously, he was given the savants a chance to flee in disgrace, or letting them scatter for more interesting hunt, more likely. Hell, I'm not sure why Padraig and I didn't just bolt. The last remaining hunter tries frantically to crawl away, but he collapses under Sarik's steel cap boot. But suddenly realize when Serpent is walking so oddly, he's dragging a dead hunter impaled on the enormous claws protruding from his fingers. The body slides to the ground with a hollow thud. A kindred who seems to be his childie, second in command, hands him a clean handkerchief while he uses to wipe the blood out of his hands, and then he promptly flings it onto the corpse. Standing over the whimpering hunter, he surveys the mortal with still sheer disdain, then tilts his head to make direct eye contact with me. Ellie, judging by your skulking in the shadows like frightened kittens, I gather you played no role in tonight's hostilities, right? His presence is overwhelming, igniting a flash of self-reflection. All the choices I made alive and alive were wrong, and I should be ashamed of myself. But I see Padraig not leisurely on owning our strategic cowardice, so into his confidence and reply. They're frightened kittens than dead ones, right? But yeah, we did take out one guy outside. If you want a body count, sir, what I need from you is to step down here that instant, unless you fancy being dealt with as false. Padraig and I looked at the shower and lower ourselves slowly onto the ground. Sincere's gaze locks on me, and blinking, his posture rigid as a cobra's, his stare so intense and almost makes me sweat, if I could sweat. That is, and if I wouldn't so damn used the pressure. I try to appear relaxed and confident when he lets out a short, sharp whistle. Instantly, two of his serpents lift the last hunter, propping his limp body into a standing position, but Sinceric doesn't spare him a glance. His eyes are fixed on me. He's been a real annoyance, this one. Quite the rock, wouldn't you say? Of course you would. Why don't you teach him a lesson? It's clear not your real question, and my only acceptable response is dutiful, yes sir. Lingering kiss, love what you hate. The perpetual spinning cogs in my head going to overdrive, looking for a way to impress Sinceric. What do I know about him? He'd relish a show of power, that's for sure. But in what flavor? Cruel? Formidable? I'm running out of time. I feel my excitement rising like a tide, and the itch to do something dangerous and reckless returns with suffocating strength. I seize the whimpering mortal by the hair and plunge my fangs deep into his neck, letting my power surge through me and into his flesh during our unholy communion. I drink his blood, reveling in a way it temporarily quenches my hunger, but most of all it makes me feel good, electrifying, unparalleled. Squad leader, no, don't. This hunter won't last long without yearning for another kiss, just like a man stranded in the desert would beg, maim, kill for a drop of water. He would do anything to satisfy this overwhelming need for more. At least for a time. I detach myself from his neck and gently lower him to the ground. His eyes glisten vacant. His hand trembles as if reaches for his throat, fingers tenderly brushing the bite mark with a mix of longing and astonishment. I step back, giving Sinceric a smug, expectant look. He gives a nod of amusement. Interesting idea, a hunter addicted to what he hates as much as he fears it. I'm not thankful for what I guess is a compliment. Sinceric's snake-like eye finally shift from me to the pathetic pile of crap on the ground. that used to be a proud hunter, but it's not enough. He approaches the hunter slowly, lazily, and then, with both hands, lifts the mortal off the ground by the shoulders. I watch from the sidelines as Zerek's bearing changes completely. Gone is the relentless intensity, the danger, the zeal. His eyes look soft and sweet when he looks them with the hunters, and murmurs something into his ears gently as if I soften a frightened animal. I watch with increasing surprise as the hunter melts into Sinceric's arms and embraces him, sobbing into the crooks of his neck, and clawing desperately at his back, as if I were trying to draw him closer. It looks intimate, reverent, and encountered with the most beloved divine. Sinceric carefully pulls away, ignoring the hunter's clinging hands, and fishes out a handed grenade from the hunter's gear. Return to your patron, make him see the error of his ways. The hunter immediately gets up, feet unsteady, and limps away through the door and into the cold darkness. His gait is awkward and clear and uncomfortable because he doesn't, not even for a second, avert his worshipful eyes from Sinceric's face. Come. He strides toward the pier, his entourage obediently tall, and of course we drag along too, thanks to an overly persistent serpent who thinks shoving us is somehow necessary. It's not like we have a chance, right? With no more distractions, the path seems way shorter than I remember. I can see one of those reaps bobbing on the East River in the distance. Must be that charged hunter of to ruin his boss night. Now, Sinceric turns it to Padraig and me, sizing us up with the icy glare. But even though his tone regains that frightening intensity from before, now there's a hint of benevolence. You have the misfortune of catching me in a nasty mood, I'm afraid. But if you will provide me an acceptable explanation for trespassing my turf, I might just let you go. Well, I flick a glance to Padraig and catch his stubble, and not out of the corner of my eyes. Name's Callie, and here's oh, I know what that is. The Baron's lapdog, the court's errand boy. I'm more interested in you. Gotta say, being this kind of spotlight doesn't exactly boost my confidence. I'm Reynard Castle Chaldee. I run with this Cody, and I know you'd had business relationships with him. I was actually one who rushed the delivery of those trinkets you wanted. I didn't realize that Seric's face could grow even more sour, but here we are. His lips curl down, he knits his eyebrows, and he glares at me like I just kicked at his cat. But then, unexpectedly, he throws his head back and laughs, free mocking laughter that makes me lose my cool. His laughter abruptly stops, and he's back staring at me coldly, unblinkingly, perfectly poised. I haven't heard from good old Rain's mouth child, where everything you procured for me went to someone else's hands. He falls silent briefly, and then his serpent eyes narrow. Do you even know what exactly it was that you acquired for him? My silence is answer. Not gonna lie. His words hit me hard, and I'm a little flustered. Reynard really declined to share his plans with me, but it wasn't like he made a habit of lying straight to me in my face. Why would he hide all from me specifically? As Sinceric makes yet another disparaging sound at me, Padraig clears his throat and shifts the seats, Calvin focus onto himself. Would you mind telling us about your last dealings with Castle? Any information could help. I roll my eyes at his stiff and obvious attempt at wielding info of Sinceric, but he only smirks and sighs as thinking about Reynard brought him great anguish, which admittedly
it might have. Nobody really thinks about Reynard unless they absolutely have to. And by that time it's usually too late. I don't mind. I must say that Brad truly was insufferable, fixated on the anti like a child just with a new toy. I'm staring at him, totally lost. Anti-Diluvines? That's a first. What did Reynard even want with anti-Diluvines? And why did he go asking the ministry? As I'm ready reading my mind, Serg tosses me a sharp look and continues. How he came to learn that my clan is me in particular holds knowledge of our most ancient ancestors, the mystery to me. But seek me out he did, asking numerous questions about ancestry, power, and blood. I jump a little when he waves his hand dismissively after such a long period of standing still. Let me be perfectly clear, the history of Clan Ravenous was never of interest to me, and I had little desire to discuss it. Never had Reynard up until a few months ago when prompted his interest in these topics. I haven't the slightest but I bet the promise of your profit was his primary motivation. What I will say, however, is that his focus on how did you put it, business relations went significantly. As you see me as well, as far as I know, it was pretty much business as usual all the time. For the first time in our conversations, Serg's face twists into a picture of true savagery. No more pleasantness, exasperation, or hints of courtesy, only angry, relentless, and feral. Reynard Castle has been sleeping in his promises, or child of his. I'm done graciously waiting for his reparations. I sneak a look at Patrick and see him nod to me encouragingly. So I collect all the broken and uncertain pieces of myself and put them back together again. Take a break for a while.
Oh boy, I even had to sleep. You can do it, Callie. Be charming, be careful, be calm. Never make promises, even those you intend to keep. I get it, so let me speak plainly. Reynard's missing. Whether he's gone for good or just lying low, I can't say no one's been able to reach him. I think he's out there somewhere, hiding, but he's off the radar. You've got your ear to the ground. Heard anything, Reynard, in the last few nights? I have no interest in that brat in so much as objects he swore to procure me for me, and since now I'm where he had no end in obtaining them, it is high time that I move on to greener pastures. Don't you think? Especially since I know they intend to deliver, yes? Sinceric almost seemed like he might lighten up with a wink, but no, his expression snaps back to its usual icy detachment as he leans forward slightly, his gaze as steady and chilliness as snake's. Reynard Castle meddles with powers beyond his ken. I wouldn't be surprised if this sudden uptick in hunter activity was linked to his actions one way or another. I was hoping he'll elaborate on this strange and frankly insulting connection he's implying, but it seems he considers our discussion done. He straightens up and signals to his second-in-command, who quickly moves in to receive his whispered instructions. There's no way this can be all we take away from such criminal meeting. I catch Padraig's eye and subtly move closer to him, ensuring our next words are shielded from many serpent ears. What's our next move? Since Eric's clueless about Reynard too. Your Sarah's messed with dangerous shit. Great, tell me something I don't know. What now? He hesitates briefly. Does it bother you that Castle has been undermining you and reneging on commitments that involve your work? I'd rather not say. Not really, no honor among thieves and all that jazz. I see, shall we take our farewell then? Hold up, there's one more thing I need to ask. I back away from our little huddle and cuff to grab Saric's attention. He acknowledges me right away, but he takes his sweet time wrapping up his chat before shooting me an impatient look. Just one more thing before we scram. The circulatory system seems to have a hit list and radar sitting at the top. Any clue what that's about? Sensoric eyes narrowed in anger and contempt. Well, colored me astonished. He was blabbing on and on about his latest illustrious benefactor who could help him uh, circumvent the red market. He makes such a sour face that if we are still mortals, I'm sure he'd be spitting in disgust. Seems like he ended up on the bad side of that slumbering bitch on the Hudson. Frankly, good riddance with that. Something clicks in my mind as he speaks. That slumbering bitch on the Hudson. Didn't those lakeys in Morningside mention some pissed off kindred ready to chuck them into the Hudson? I might have heard a rumor or two about the Hudson situation, but who do you mean exactly? My attention remains fixed on Sansaric, but I can't ignore the abrupt, frantic motion of Padraig violently spinning his damn ring. Sansaric gnashes his teeth and a low, sifting murmur ripples through his pulvers. That Simshevich Ritra, or whatever the fuck her name is, you don't know her, then call me a blessed child. What's her deal? Her deal is that she waltzes in like she owns the place and steals what's been rightfully ours for decades. His eyes blaze with a pure yellow light, fangs elongating as his jaw loosens in a furious scream. I swear I catch a glimpse of her forked tongue flickering back into his mouth as he comes down, regaining his usual captivating appearance. I add two and two together and realize this Ritra must be the one who ousted the serpents from the Sturf and Harlem. I shoot a knowing glance at Padraig, but he's too fixated on the damn right of his, so I decide to press Sarek a bit harder. I wonder that kind of relationship Radar has with Ritra, do you think? I do not think about her childhood of Reynard, nor do I wish to start. My time expressions were done here. So much for pressing. Since Sarek fully turns his back to me and conferred with some of his serpents, I strain my ears to hear their whispers, not even out for need to hear what they are saying, but more out of sheer curiosity. But Padraig gently tugs on my sleeve. I think our meeting has concluded. We should leave before Sarek himself drives us off his turf. Not much in the way of clues. You're right, I guess. I really hope for more clues than that. Well, at least we confirm that Sincere has nothing to do with Castle's disappearance. Let this guy's strategy once we gone from this place. I now clear my throat loudly and speak without waiting for Sincere to face me. Thanks for not throwing us out on our asses sooner, Sincere, and for info too. We'll get out of your hair now. I spin on my heel, but his stare holds me dead in my tracks. You should leave the city, child. Looking for that sire of yours will yield nothing but death and ruin. And if your living means that Brad digs himself deeper into his own shit, he gives me a smirk, the first one yet, then I might be willing to lend a hand. I'm ready to snap at him, screaming in his face that I don't need his damn pity. But then it hits me like a freight train. He's not offering help out of sympathy. He'd get off on watching Reynard suffer, no doubt about it. But then his offer is like this weird mix of prickly and as kindness, something you hardly ever see in our kindred world. And it's that fucked up kindness alone that keeps my mouth shut. So instead I give a silent nod and hook arms with Padraig as we dip out of that decrepit building into the frigid dead of night. Connecting the dots, Reynard's exploits have me even more on edge than the carnage that happened at the island. I need to figure out my next move. Hans Poing Landing. Even I have heard some of the craziest legends that popped up around the ministry over the years. I don't give a shit, they can actually control the elements, but the second we bailed from that shithole on North Bravo Island, a ruthless wind kicked up, shoving us right back to our boat. It was like Mother Nature screaming at us to get to the hell out, to run, dish this cursed down before it sucked us dry. So yeah, we totally bailed. We zoomed across the east route and only chilled when that weak wind finally took a break from breathing down our necks. That's when it dives into the icy Hudson, stirring up wild waves. As we're talking on this pier, the thunderous crash of the water drowns out our voices, all fierce and intense like it's slurping up our words and stashing them away. Let's recapitulate at first. Jessica Wainwright says Reynard Castle is now #1 on the circulatory system's hit list. Padraig isn't the type to make big gestures while he talks. He usually just spins his wrinkled shoves and his hands deep in his pockets, but this time he's putting on a bit of a show, ticking off imaginary bullet points on his fingers. Yeah, and I'm probably going down with him if I don't stop digging. Not like I've got much of choice anyway. Correct, and second, Alice and Sarek swears he hasn't talked to Reynard Castle in months. And the items? Sure, the item sounds about right. Right, the items you arranged for Sarek through Castle haven't shown up yet. Castle has also developed a rather intense, almost obsessive interest in anti-diluvians, but his reasons and objectives are still a mystery. I just quietly nod along. Reynard Castle has been MIA for the past few nights despite having meetings lined up. He goes quiet for a bit, spinning his ring like he's trying to tether his thoughts to something solid. In all honesty, none of this sounds promising. Not for finding him, and definitely not for his safety. He stops talking and just stares off into space, fiddling with his ring. What else is new? But there's another place of intel we've dug up. And there's that seamanship from the Hudson. Ritra, was it? Sarek mentioned she's after Reynard. Don't know much about her, just that she's got some sort of show on the Hudson. We should definitely look into her. That train of his is spinning faster now, and I somehow sense that Padraig's about to piss me off with another load of bullshit. It hits me all of a sudden. He does that a lot, doesn't he? Spins that ring and then spouts nonsense or flips his stance. I'm convinced that's the smartest approach. What solid proof do we actually have that ties held to Castle, aside from the rumblings of a disgruntled serpent? There we go. None, but then again, we don't have much of anything solid, so we might as well chase up that what at least we do have right. That makes sense. He keeps spinning his ring, his expression smoothing like he's trying to straighten his thoughts. However, I think it might be better to focus on our investigation in the circulatory system. Is this him being pragmatic, anxious, or maybe did he just spin the ring and let the fate decide? Honestly, that feels way riskier than just chatting with one kindred. I can't believe I'm one who wants to play it safe. There's no way he lets sheer chance guide his actions, right? Not Mr. Cool and Collected. It's got to be something about Ritra herself. Is she really that intimidating? Are you scared of her? Well, since Sarah did imply that she single-handedly ousted his entire group out of Harlem. To be fair, he only suggested that she just does whatever she wants. He's not a fan because she totally stepped on his toes. He turns away and spins his ring faster as yet another realization dawns on me. From what little I know, it's out of character for Padraig to be scared of someone he hasn't met. Hold on, do you know her? Like, personally? I don't. Well, I've heard of her. Spin. Word travels fast, and she's been the talk of the town for some time now. She's quite the enigma. Spin, spin. No one knows where she came from or why she chose New York, only that she invades territories and stands her ground decisively. Spin, spin, spin. and that unknown element is precisely what makes her a threat. Spits with pin, I'm so tempted to rip that fucking ring off his finger and smash it to pieces. I shut my eyes and grit my teeth, try to concentrate. Well, just rumors. Seriously, we can't trust the rumor mill. It's like the lifeblood of kindred politics. Everyone's been hyping up Sarek as this big scary motherfucker, and look at the guy's practically a sweetheart. Maybe we just caught him at an opportune moment. Exactly, we might just catch Rita on a good old day too. Perhaps, but the fact remains many kindred who went to see her never returned. And the same can be said about the sheriff. I don't get why you're all weird about looking into Rita, especially since you never even met her. Or so you claim. The drift. He stops spinning his ring and grips it tightly. His knuckles turn a shade paler. The main difference between her and the Camarilla is that with the ivory tower you can occasionally talk your way out of the deal, negotiate, like you did a couple of nights ago. With Rita, the story has just one ending. You disappear. His explanation almost makes sense, but he won't even look at me as he speaks, just gazes off into nothing, fingers constantly dancing on his stupid ring. And while I get that everyone has their quirks, I'm not demented enough to think I have any. It's really starting to get on my fucking nerves. You know what, as much as it kills me to say it, you're right. This retread chick is way too dicey to just walls up to. Let's stick to something more solid for now. Yes, exactly. He sounds so relieved it almost makes me feel bad for what I'm about to do. Almost, but then he starts spinning that goddamn ring again. It's just that this is killing me. I need to do something with my hands before I literally explode. A look of concern flickers across his face. Literally explode? Does that have something to do with your clan? Nah, just how I'm wired. Got a coin or something I can toss. Maybe a pebble, a button. He gives me a puzzled look, but dutifully digs into his pocket and has me a coin. A quid, if I'm not mistaken. Thanks so. Oh shit, looks like the serpents I have in second thoughts about letting us walk. As he turns to look confused, I swiftly snag both the coin and his cherished ring from his hand. Before he turned back, I slip the ring off my finger and stares back. Never mind, probably just my mind playing tricks. Hey, what's up with your ring? Up close, the ring is actually pretty intricate, even kind of beautiful. It's a die spinner that mimics what? D20 die. I give it a flick. It lands me on one. I chose not to take that as an omen. My ring, it was. I leave my hand and give my fingers a little wave, flashing the double bend. If it were mortal, Padraig would be the portrait of distress right now, with his pupils shrinking to dust. He reaches out with a trembling hand. Give it back. Why the fuss? It's a cool piece and all, but seriously, what's the big deal? You don't understand. I really need it back, please. I stand my ground with my arms crossed, watching him falter. His body tenses as if to jump, then relaxes abruptly. His hands clench and unclench, and it's clear he's struggling to keep himself composed, almost on the verge of kneeling. I know he's been putting on a show these past few nights. He's a pro, and I get that. Game recognizes game. But right now he looks so downright pathetic that I have to really remind myself that we are both just playing our parts here. Kelly, I'm serious, please. It could turn really ugly, really fast. Give it back, just give it back. He seems so the bad guy here. This can go on. I need to find out. I will if you tell me what the problem is. Look at this from my angle, will you? I feel like I'm about to lose my head here, and you acting like it's fine to gamble with my existence. You get now messed up, that sounds right? It's not what you think, just please hand it over and then what? You'll just skirt around the issue? That's all you ever do. He stays quiet, teeth clenched, shivering on the ground as he's going through the betrothal. Who knows, maybe he is. You really don't think much of me, do you? Haven't I shown you I'm reliable enough? Come on, Patrick. Quit the game, just this once and trust me. What's going on with you? I might be able to help you, you know? I pry his hand away from the decayed plank that he's nearly crushed, slip the ring onto his finger and step back just in case he decides to take a well-deserved swing at me. The reaction is instantaneous. I watch in silence as he calls in on himself, cradling his hand to his chest, his head bowed, shoulders heaving and sharp, near muffled breaths. It takes a while for him to find his words. I wrestle with my impatience. Just stay cool. Wait. Right when I'm about to blurt out something stupid, he speaks. I do not leave important decision to a die roll. Absolutely not. You're right. It would be monumentally foolish. He lifts his gaze from the ring and looks at me with a piercing clarity. I plop down next to him, nodding at him to go on. This ring I considered in my lifeline. It keeps me from drowning in a relentless flood of voices inside my head. It doesn't shut them up entirely, but it dampens them, makes them manageable, subdued. Wait a minute. Is this why you've been so obsessed about your voices and that's born say now? Yes, I'm searching for a more faster solution of some more clarity at least. Clarity on what? On what these voices actually represent? You don't know? I know I've known these voices as long as I can remember. I understand why they grew stronger after my embrace, but I also know that I'm not like what others experience. But Drake, I'm so lost. What others are you talking about? He falls silent for a hot minute, the ring on his finger twitching incessantly. It's truly irritated inside. I should probably look away before I'm tempted to yank it off again. I'm Malkavian, Callie. The whole Katie fact is just facade. Okay, and his gaze filled with suspicion narrows on me. You don't seem terribly shocked. I mean, what are we if not secrets we keep? Callie isn't even my real name, you know. What is it then? Slow down, Turbo. We're still unpacking your little masquerade here. What's up with that? Why the pregnancy, man? Yeah, that I get the guess, but I wanna know the deeds. The deeds are that Malkavians aren't exactly crowd favorites, particularly those among us with an uncanny insight into the future and no talent for concealing it. Wait, hold up, you telling me you can see the future? No, nothing so extravagant. I get feelings, hunches, occasional whispers offer me a glimpse of what might be. Sounds pretty nifty to me. Believe me, it's anything but it's impossible to tell if these whispers sound boon or bane. Wait, so your own voices are screwing you? Yes. That's seriously messed up. No response. I take it that he agrees. So these whispers, did they tip you off when you saved those errands 2 years back? He seems surprised that I remember his little confession. In a way I was lucky to guess right, and lucky that Tork cut me some slack for my Reddit gift. I nod silently, piecing together our conversation in my head. Everything clicks into place except for one nagging question. But if you understand these voices and their origins, why bother dissecting them? I hear many voices, each of them distinct but also the same. It is difficult to explain. But among them is one that's elusive. It doesn't come from any known place. It can be quietened, not even by my ring. I need to uncover its source and purpose. So it's nastier than the others? Not exactly, just enigmatic, and there's only one. He pauses, his fingers inching toward that cursed ring, and he clearly abandons that he has going to say. Nobody seems to know a damn thing about it. I squint at him, suspicion tightening my features. You're holding out on me again. Of course I am, but I'm being open about it. It's impossible to share everything about oneself. I found that fascinating, don't you? No matter how transparent you try to be, there are always aspects of your life you keep to yourself, intentionally or not, the nuance of our situations. With a lot of crap, I mentally check out a bit, then I cut off his philosophical rambling. Cool it, Gandalf. Keep your secret. Just remember, I'm not letting fate roll a die for me. I already have one reckless idiot in this team, and that's me. He seems stunned, but in the end tosses me a small but genuine smile. I thank you truly. Had I known you would be so understanding, I might have told you sooner. I apologize for misjudging you, Callie. Apology accepted. Thank you for telling me, even if it was under duress. Right, yes. So, shall we go back to important stuff? Yes, but no more secrets. Yeah, we should, unless you got more bombshells to drop. I'm just messing with him, but I catch a flicker of genuine panic on his face. He quickly masked it, and I chose just at once to pretend I didn't notice. No, nothing else to declare, but I admit I'm quite curious about your real name. Nah, we're definitely not there yet. So, Reynard, why is the circulatory system so obsessed with getting him out of the picture? I mean, that's a whole blood trade thing, sure, but why the sudden urgency? I'm guessing it's because they know something we don't. That's a reasonable hypothesis. Right, every now and then I hit the nail on the head. Now, if they come real ahead and swipe my laptop, I might have done some deep digging online with all my tech, but honestly, it probably wouldn't have made damn a difference. Behemoth like the circulatory system probably uses sealed off internet for all their dirty laundry. If only I could hack into their database, but so coulda, woulda, shoulda at this point. Hold that thought. Getting into the circulatory system's database might just be within our grasp. I squint at him. He's full of surprises tonight. Must be the bloodshed getting to him. Have you ever come across someone named Kaiser? I might have. Caught a wind of him. Isn't he slick, sharky guy? It would be prudent to avoid discussing his appearance, especially in his presence. Kaiser is quite a figure here in New York. A veritable eminence, Christ, those influence extends everywhere like a spider's web. There is little he doesn't know, even with the recent altercation with the La Sombra Primogen. What happened again? What altercation? I'm not privy to the particulars, only that it's profoundly disturbed Kaiser. Oh, that Primogen sounds pretty cool. I should definitely not meet with them then. I don't want no altercations. I'd be of much to say whatever the Primogen chooses to seek you out. Anyhow, if we want to operate under the Cavalier's radar, Kaiser our kindred. Yeah, but hooking up with someone like that, I mean, I'm not even planning to stick around New York much longer. Putting up devs while hunting for my Sarah sounds like a nightmare. That is fair. Well then, we don't have any other. Hold up, what about that Mulcavian's event? Word on the street if she's pretty slick with intel. You know her, right? From clan to clan. You mean Hope, that CEO of Double Spiral? Right, her. She's famous for her tech chops. Heard some chatter about her back in the late tour. Well, she might not be the best fit for the job. Cracking open out the database one thing, getting her hands on it is another. But she's been torn in Kaz's side lately, having steadily gained ground in his areas of influence. Maybe she just picked up some new tricks she hasn't unleashed yet. It's your call, Callie. This is about the star after all. Honestly, none of these options are exactly star, but beggars can be choosers, right? Kaiser? Hate to say it, but I think our best bet is the city stop in for broker, risky as he seems. Alright, I'll set up a meeting for tomorrow night, just after sunset. Meet me at my haven as soon as possible. You'll find another place to crash tonight, I take it. He's learning on it. Yeah, but I'll be there. Pinky promise. He flashes me a knowing grin and nods. Then we go our separate ways. Melted in the vanish night. Kinda ironic, isn't it? The deeper I think is into this mess, the lighter I fell. Oh man, temporary heaven, wherever you go. Let's quickly do the math. Deadly sunlight applies my glance, particularly equals a new spot to make you keep from getting dusted. I just hope it's better than the last one, balancing with the chaos that keeps unfolding. Any hideouts will do. The Apartment I scored thanks to the signs of our crew wonder who left it there. Reynard Jazz is thankfully much better than the dump I had to crash back in the Bronx. It's clean, spacious, and soundproof, so at least I won't fry a crisp while daydreaming. Not exactly my cozy RV, but hey, in a couple of nights I could get used to it. If I weren't for the damn near suddenly that I'll turn it into a pile of ash, come on sad, that is. Lying in this queen-size bed, hands placed behind my head, waiting for sleep to hit, my mind can't help but spiral around the shitstorm of the past few nights. Turns out there's more I don't know about Reynard than I do about Padraig. I've been Reynard's childie for almost 2 freaking years. My embrace, yeah, that's not a dream down memory lane I enjoy, not just cause it felt like getting ripped apart, but cause it caught me off guard. I was one of those poor sods, those entire existence resolved around becoming kindred, who slaved away as ghouls for decades, if not centuries, just for a chance at that one final kiss. To be honest, I had no desires or purpose back then, just drifting through life much like these nights following the impulses hit up the sad city, nose crash that, head to the other one, swipe from that dude here, scam that lady over there, put on a show, disappear, leave. I caught Reynard's eyes at the music festival. I was really raking it in with a slice of a hand, hustling the clueless out of their money. Rich kids were everywhere, dripping with their cash and confidence, making my job a damn breeze. And just one day I made up enough to cover my tickets 3 times over. It lasted until Reynard came along and decided to take me down a notch, exposing all my tricks, swindling me of my hard-earned money, humiliating in front of my cash cows, and then had the nerve to promise me some bright, shiny future with his gang. I told him to go to hell. Obviously, I had it with assholes and had zero interest in joining a gang. Cruising alone across the country suited me just fine, or so I thought. Been years since I convinced myself that solitude meant freedom. But soon enough, whether I liked it or not, I learned a whole new meaning of freedom. One that went way beyond just being lonely. Cause that very same night, Reynard spotted me in a crowd and decided to embrace me right under everyone's noses. No one even batted a freaking eye as he hauled my dying ass on that festival. Man, I'm rather mood today, and I can remind myself that it's not all that bad. Those last 2 years with Reynard's coterie were better than a big chunk of my life. Turns out being a part of the tight-knit group I found family. Equals can be pretty damn sweet. Not so much when a leader turns out to be a lion dodging a snake, though. That's a recent bombshell with that merchandise not reaching the bar, the sudden antediluvian obsession, and being at the very top of the cartel system hit list. God damn it, Dragon Castle. What the hell did you get yourself into? Meanwhile, so I guess night will over. Slow night, boss. Julia Kadir. He clearly tested when I call him that, but I keep tossing this way every now and then. Who knows, maybe it'll kindle some of that old body wipe lost along the way. Now that I'm dying for it, it turns into a total snore. It felt once he flips on that professional switch, handled in a Callahan case the way I did. I knew it wouldn't exactly endear me to him. Turns out it might have cut him deeper than I ever thought it would. How many is done? Another 2, a dustboard and one of Vaseline fledglings. The way they were found, their last moments are far from pleasant to say at least. To say the least, this is absurd. We are sequestered here like a bunch of idiots struggling to find common ground, pretend we have this mess handled. We can't let this continue, you know that? We have to crush these mobs, snap their pitchforks, and smother their torches before everything spirals out of control. I mean, you are the sheriff. In my book, that's your shot to call. You've got plenty of backup in there. Honestly, I don't know what's holding you back. That's the fundamental difference between us. Unlike you, I still have a modicum of respect for the rules, even when they blind my hands to the choices of false language. Yikes, that's fear glare again. I need to work my time and he needs to sort out his anger issues. Do you mind if I intrude on this delightful conversation? Jesus, I hate when she pulls that Cheshire cat chef popping out of thin air like that. What is it, Valerie? We might have identified that mastermind behind you, locust worm, as you aptly put it. A mere glimpse at the file she hands Kadir has me reeling. Him? Seriously? Positive. But then, piecing things together, it makes perfect sense. Locust would only rally under a supremely charismatic asshole, and there's no asshole quite as magnetic as Aaron Fletcher. Oh man, we're gonna end the night. That was night 3. Well, see you next night.